Anyway, what's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Crime and credit rating correlation. I was on my Facebook a couple of days ago, and a friend of mine had this brother on there who was on, I guess, Roland Martin's show, his radio show. And he was talking about the stuff on the way back, I guess, riding the car. Forgot his name. I'm sorry. Forgot your name. And he said, if you want to know where crime is in most areas, in most states or most inner cities, just most bad places in general, find out where people have a 500 credit score. Where groups of people, the group of people have a 500 credit score. And I was at the gym and I told it to another brother today. And the dude was like, yo, that's some real shit. Because he said, think about it. You know, we was all talking and whatnot. He was like, well, check cashing is there instead of a bank, you know. And I was like, yeah. And if anybody who's never been to a check cashing place, if you need $200 and you got to go to what check cashing those kind of cash lenders. I'll put it like that. It's cash lenders. You need $200 and you got to go to them. I can guarantee you, that's predatory lending at its finest. Like, you need $200 to keep the lights on. You go to this lender to get $200, and bam, tomorrow you owe them $300, and it's gonna increase daily. You know, that $200 might cost your ass, depending on how fast you pay. It might cost you $300, $400, $500, $600 to $1,000. That's how they make their money. That's why, you know, it buzzing people in and out because they keep stacks of cash. But that's the other thing about the quote unquote, you know, liquor store, fast food joint, gas station, or messed up gas station, corner store. That's what a corner store. For all y'all who don't know what a corner store is, it's just like a bodega, like corner store, and down the block of CVS. No doctor's offices. So in some ways, and if you've never been real to the hood, like when you go to the hood, there's some real good cooking and for a very affordable price. You might get a lot of tasty food, a lot of bang for your buck. But a lot of times our businesses can't leave the hood because, you know, there's no lending. You know, people think black business isn't thriving because of banking also, and part of that probably has to do with credit scores. Sometimes it's just racial, other times it's just credit scores because of the areas you dealing in straight cash. Now, the reason I say that is because of this. When you're in an environment, 500 credit score, you would consider that environment probably impoverished. And because it's impoverished, people prey on you staying in poverty. That's why I said the cash lenders, that keeps your ass in debt. Just like for years people have been saying, man, the gas stations, and I live in the suburbs, and it cracks me up because sometimes I can go into the city and past the city. And I find it that the gas companies or their stuff is on the other side of town. So you would expect for them to, where the companies, you know, the trucks come from, you would expect for those gas stations to be cheaper, right? Because they're right there, you know. But if they by the hood, no, you're going to pay. And then when you get into the city, and then you get to more affluent neighborhoods, I've seen this all the time. Like, I'll be driving, and it's gas stations by my house. I'll be like, okay, cool price. Now I get somewhere, and I might pull off the freeway, and it might be quote unquote in the hood. And I'm like, damn. Okay, if the gas where I'm at was $1.99, where I live at is $1.99. The gas over here is $2.05, but when I get to the hood, it's 215, 218, 220. It's like, okay, they making, so people have to pay more in fees with credit if they have credit because the credit score is low. And then, if not that, you're paying cash lenders, which is exorbitant fees. If not that, corner stores are not like grocery stores where if bananas are 44 cents a pound, they 44 cents a pound. You might be in the corner store and 2 bananas might cost you $1. You know what I mean? So you paying more for food, which is probably not as fresh as other foods. And the irony of that is, how can I say this? Produce, or the lack of produce, is part of the problem because it's kind of like it's a war of food. You can't eat right. It costs you too much to get everywhere you got to go. You paying fees on top of fees on top of fees, and but of course the liquor store got to be there, right? And the reason all of this comes together in a holistic term is because of this. When you're in a situation where you're constantly grinding, constantly treading water, and you constantly scrambling to get out, that's part of people talk about the crabs in the bucket mentality. Like it said so eloquently before by Lord Jamar, a bucket is not a crab's natural habitat. They would try to get out the bucket, but are they working as teams? No, they don't even know that. They don't know that they're in a fucking bucket and how to get out of a bucket. Y'all, that's just crazy. So people in those situations don't know how to necessarily get out of them. When you're preying on people's lack of financial sense, and you expected them to have financial sense, that doesn't make sense. But because of all of this poverty and inability to accumulate resources or be credited resources to make further moves forward, you're stuck just in frustration, doing whatever you do to get cash. Because when people talk about crime, it's a drug business, is a cash business. Robbing boys, that's a cash business. Breaking entry, yeah, well, that's still robbing or whatever. You chopping up cars, you stealing cars to go get cash. Like, everything is cash transactions, plus it's crime, so you can't have crime on credit, but that's a whole other story. But because of lack of all of these things, it's a problem. And we were talking about also, like, include that with the war of food. And what I mean by war of food is what I was saying earlier. Like, if you can't get healthy food because you're in the hood, not only in your stressful situation, you're in an impoverished situation, you're in a situation that you can't, nobody will lend you money to get out of the situation or put yourself in the best position, even if you have a business plan. And you're eating the worst foods you can eat. So you're putting stress, poverty, bad eating, and predatory lending all in one little bowl, which is going to be a powder keg of events. Because, see, you need something like this to facilitate gentrification. There's not gentrification in areas that have 700 credit ratings. It's not. You're not. We're gonna leave from these affluent neighborhoods to go to these non-affluent neighborhoods to make it look good. That's not gonna happen. People are the rich are staying rich. The rich are getting richer while the poor are getting poor. But you have to prey on the poor to in a stocks in a real estate stock type sense to buy low and sell high. You know, that's why the schools ain't shit. You know, the schools ain't shit on purpose. The environment ain't shit on purpose. Because if whether you like to admit it or not, you still have taxpayers in these areas. If these areas in these areas that have houses that may be worth $100,000, they still been paying taxes for the last 10, 20, 30 years. But the roads have never been fixed. The schools never been fixed. You know, the landscaping is not what's up. The garbage and maintenance is not what's up. And we're not just talking about, you know, individual neighbors. We're talking about the city's responsibility in this. And it's odd that, oh, when it's time to gentrify, all of a sudden everybody got money to fix the roads and, you know, the school, knock that school down, let's build a bigger one. Where the fuck you get all this money from? Oh, okay. Because all of that predatory lending and the tax base that people gentrifying from has basically a pot of gold for people to come in the community and or we could set up shop with all the shit we didn't, with all the money that we never used on the community that paid taxes in it because we didn't like them because they were unfavorable people. I'm not using a racial term because credit ratings are not really a racial thing. You know, you can have a poor credit rating in any kind of community. So, but the crime and the poverty and the predatory lending of credit is all combined in a sense. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And if y'all don't get what I'm saying, let me know so I can fix it. But hopefully you get it. Peace.